Hi, this is Frank Furness, and welcome back to Meet the Experts. As you know, around the world I meet some of the world's best experts, the go-to people, and today I always speak about Mari Smith, who is the go-to expert on Facebook for business and a lot more. Mari, great to meet you.
You too. I'm delighted to be here. I just love your accent, and I thought you were just so friendly and personable, and you made an impression on me already by coming here early, and we had a wonderful connection.
Wonderful. Marie, tell me something. I speak to business owners all over the world, and they just say, why should I use Facebook for business? Have we got some tips for them?
Sure, you betcha. So here's the thing, that Facebook, even though we get frustrated about how the organic reach is going down, it's still the world's #1 social network. 1.2 billion active users, logging on daily, spending huge amounts of time on there. It's a massive captive audience. Plus, the Facebook ads, that's the most targeted traffic that your money can buy. So if business people are not taking advantage of the ads, they're actually leaving money on the table. So you for sure want to have a fan page, even if you're not getting a lot of engagement or reach right now, because that's your starting point, that's the foundation through which you can put content, good, solid, quality, value-adding content, tips, and you can share other people's content. And then you want to tie that into your business strategy where you're doing lead generation, you're getting opt-ins, you're driving people to your own site, your blog, your offers, and those are the kinds of pieces of content that you want to pay to amplify to get more visibility in the newsfeed. Does that make sense? So that, in other words, you're not just paying to go, hey, look at this meme. I mean, that would be senseless.
And then the other question I get asked is, what do I put onto our company Facebook? I run a big business here. What do we put on? What do I tell my people to put on?
Right, so really obviously it's going to depend on the nature of the business, but think about anything that might be related to what your specific audience would be interested in. The thing is too, to not try to be all things to all people. I mean, if you're in the, gardening is your niche, then you don't be wanting to also sharing about, I don't know, preschoolers or pets or knitting or like, you know what I mean, like completely off topic. Try to keep it within a certain realm of subjects that would be related to your audience. They'd find it interesting. The other thing too is you can ask them, just conduct simple surveys and come up with topics and have people actually, check a box. Survey Monkey's really good for that, and or just ask right on your Facebook page, hey, I'm thinking about talking about this, or I'd like to post more content about that. That would be something you could pay to amplify, something like that, to reach more people in the newsfeed and get some feedback so that you can get, directly, what does our audience want if you don't know?
And what about how often and when's the best time? Because some of these people say, well, should I put it on every day, or when is there any best time of the day? Any tips on that, Murray?
Yeah, I do recommend once a day at minimum. Once a day actually is usually typically plenty. If you're getting great engagement and then it tapers off, usually for me it's about a couple of hours. If a couple of hours goes by and there's no more likes or comments, that's usually a sign that it's not really in the newsfeed, and you could add another piece of content. But if you're still getting engagement hours and hours later, you don't need to do another post. The other thing too is that we have to be careful that you don't want to be showing up in the newsfeed too often. I would say a general rule of thumb is about minimum of 1 piece of content per day, maybe a maximum of 3 or 4. Experiment somewhere in that range. In terms of best times of day, I highly recommend posting outside of business hours. So evenings, weekends, maybe early in the morning before people go to work, maybe midday if they're at lunch. Absolutely evenings and weekends. Those are the times that people are most on Facebook anyway.
Right. And now, what about all the other big networks? I love YouTube. I'm a YouTube junkie, 650 videos. And then, so some of the people say we can see that, but they also say, why should we use Twitter? LinkedIn, they can sort of get it. Which ones would you say, if you had to say 3 or 4 big networks for them to be on, including the pictorial ones, what would you say?
Absolutely, Facebook. Starts with Facebook because it is the #1, as we mentioned. There's the sheer size of it. For me personally, I love Twitter. It still remains 7 years. That remains the only network where you can proactively find people to follow, and about half the people will follow you back. We can't really say that for other networks. So if you go like someone's page, they're not going to come and like your page. So I just find Twitter is a wonderful platform to really take control of your growth and proactively grow it. From there, you can migrate people to other networks. I personally, my third one I use right now is Instagram, because it's actually in 2014 here one of the fastest growing social networks. It is owned by Facebook. I think we're going to see more and more features coming on Facebook, on Instagram, similar to Facebook, like paid ads, metrics, demographics, all kinds of things. But other sites, see Pinterest, it's very niche for women. It's time consuming to find visual content or reshare. YouTube, you're the master, fantastic. If you've got video content, definitely YouTube. LinkedIn, much more B2B. I personally, it's kind of been on my list of to-dos for years to get more into LinkedIn. Google Plus, I fell in love with it when it first came out, and now my enthusiasm kind of waned. It's just a different demographic, and I don't find that I have enough time to be on Google Plus. But otherwise, my main advice, Frank, is just to pick the sites that really resonate with you. You like them, and your audience is there, and that might only be 2 or 3 main sites.
Right.
And stick with that. Don't worry about whether people are saying, oh, you've got to be on Google Plus, or you've got to be on Instagram or LinkedIn, and those don't really speak to you. Then don't worry about it.
Now, Maury, you're the expert. If people want to find out a little bit more about you, if they want to follow you, I get your newsletter, which is fantastic.
Thank
every
you.
Friday. And what I love, it's short and sweet, normally 3 tips, which takes me 10 minutes, and it's just great content. How do they sign up for that, and where can they go if they want to buy any of your sort of services, products on how to use Facebook for Business?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's just maurysmith.com, facebook.com/maurysmith, twitter.com/maurysmith, and let's see, Instagram has got an underscore, Maury underscore Smith, and then you asked about the newsletter, which is thesocialscoop.com, or they can find it on maurysmith.com.
Great, and just follow all the links below. Yeah, Maury, thank you so much for your time. It's
My
wonderful
pleasure.
meeting you.
Yeah, you too, likewise.